my name is Brian, and I'm a comic book fan, but not really. I don't read. Uh, here's a new impression of you, Brian. Uh,
Uh,
I love taking duties in front of boss baddies.
I'm more of a graphic novel guy because I don't know, like I like comic books, but I just don't like the feel of them.
I wipe my ass with comic books. I use it as toilet paper 30 minutes after I do a 40-minute shit. It's why, why do I sleep with my name over my head? It's because I need to remember who's the king of the house. Uh-oh, we got the 501st up in here. Oh shit. He's, Commander Cody, like a bantha.
Like a manta.
Oh my God. What's happening, everybody? My name is Julius, and I'm here once again for another We Tolerate Comics with Mr. Brian Curiel. Look at him. He's here to talk about some comic books, even though it's not his forte, and he doesn't really care about the whole culture in general. I just
I
seduced him
do.
in this because it deals with, we're going to be talking about some Star Wars crap, which, Brian's a big fan of for some
Mm-hmm.
reason. Look at him drinking his shake. Yeah. Wait, drink the shake again? Ooh, it's a vanilla tasting shake. That was your inner monologue. Ooh. You know what the onomatopoeia is of you drinking that? It's slurp. It's just a big slurp that goes over your head.
Mm-hmm.
What's up, Brian?
Nothing much, Jules. How are you doing?
I'm fine. I just woke up. Can you believe it?
I could.
Yeah, look at me. Look at me. I just woke up and you were getting ready. You were getting your vanilla protein shake when,
I was.
I
Yeah.
could
You
have
told me.
I
You were
could have
like,
had it.
let's do nine. Let's do nine. And then you sent me a message being like, 10 question mark. Thank you,
It's will you pen, please, my boy.
my boy.
And then Brian said, of course, I'm a night owl, but I'll wake up early in the fucking morning. Fuck you.
I will.
Well, the reason we're doing this comic episode kind of Star Wars centric is because Brian and I plan very soon, possibly in the next month, to start a Star Wars centric podcast where we
Mm-hmm.
talk about, our love and our hatred for a galaxy far, far away. Brian cares a little too much, and I'm starting to care less and less as I grow older. So I think we'll have a pretty cool dynamic. I don't want to announce the name just yet. Because I don't want anyone to take the motherfucker. Because
Exactly. Yeah.
any Star Wars name you can think of has been used for a podcast,
The dingo
just
and the
like that.
baby. That's the podcast
Dingo and the
name.
Baby, Jama and the Clones.
Joel and the clones.
Um, so the one I came up with, the one Brian and I talked about, I don't think has been taken, so we're just gonna keep it under wraps for right now.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah,
We're
Brian,
hoping
what's your problem?
a lot.
It's a lot. I
A
believe
lot.
metachlorians exist. It's, but yeah, we're gonna have a pretty good dynamic talking about shit we love and hate also because
Mhm.
Brian and I are very different Star Wars fans, but we're also very similar in that we both love and hate it. So,
Exactly.
but we just don't we a certain point of view. Yeah, yeah.
You'll
Brian, why
never
don't you just
find a
look at me,
more
man?
wretched
What's your
hide of
problem, man?
scum and villainy.
It's a wretched hide of scum and villainy. You sound like Trump when you sing that.
Maybe in the podcast, we were going to talk about something about the sequels, and be like, I don't like it. He doesn't like it.
I don't like you. He
I
doesn't
wanted a
like you
12
either.
parsec systems.
You best watch yourself. And then it cuts to Kathleen Kennedy and then back to you. I'm a wanted man. Oh my God. I wanted to show off this little guy I got here. It's a Wolverine figure.
Want to show off this little guy.
Oh shit. Oh, I want to show off this little guy. Hold up.
Oh my God. Get out of here with that.
Get out of here. All right. Well, I did want to bring up, I've talked a little bit about it, but I know Brian was probably also very affected by this. Since we're talking about Star Wars, we might as well talk a little bit about uh, James Earl Jones, who just passed away at the very impressive age of 93. Um,
Yeah, no, that's a long time, you know?
yeah, this guy's been working for a
Good
long
amount of
time.
years. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, th this was very Uh, I somewhat shocking. I mean, when you're in your 90s, I mean, you can't be too people can't be too surprised, but
No.
there are some figures that are just so everlasting and so present within your youth, especially if you're a big fan of
Hmm.
something like Star Wars, that it's a little tough to even conceive, oh, okay, yeah, at some point they are going to die. And
Yeah.
I just wanted to bring it up briefly how James Earl Jones brought, joy to people and through his performances, through multiple films, not just Star Wars, but
Hmm.
um,
And plays.
Star Wars was, yeah, absolutely. Star Wars was definitely, I think, the role of James Earl Jones. What did you
Oh yeah.
think, Brian?
Mm.
Oh,
I
slurp.
I agree with that too. I mean, I feel like the icon of the voice has become bigger even more than the character. Um, I feel his voice was definitely made for the character, that grandiose kind of deep, almost authoritative command over all these people. It's also kind of a unique contrast to the other villains within the New Hope. And I'm gonna bring up just New Hope because I feel like the others kind of go a little differentiate from it. But in the New Hope, it seems that a majority of all the officers, all the Imperial officers, are all British. You know, majority of them, the way you hear
White.
them, they're very white British people, and that's kind of almost like the epitome of like almost like colonism or something like a command within like
Colonialism.
imperialism. Yeah, exactly. Shut up.
Shut up.
and
It's not
James
real. Historian, damn it. Historian.
and then James Earl Jones' voice is just so impeding over these other voices. You know, his command
Yeah.
is, and it's not just because of the suit, and it's not just because of his presence coming onto the ship with the other Imperials, kind of being like, "Oh wow, look, it's Darth Vader." It's just his overall presence, his design, and his cape. You know, that kind of impedes him as like this count, this lord of like the manor. You know,
Yeah, yeah, he's definitely, the in a room surrounded by imperial officers who are snipping at each other. They don't want to fuck with Darth Vader because Darth Vader is the one who, except for that one guy who's like, "Listen, Vader, you and your hokey religion, your Christianity, you can get out of here. You can suck it, all right? You suck it. Oh.
I mind your tongue.
Your tongue looks very good. You're going to you're going to play with my robotic nuts because they are there.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
he is the one with automatic presence. I mean the costume, but the costume can only take you so far because I don't know if you've ever seen any of the behind the scenes footage of them filming, and they didn't have James Earl Jones's voice. They had only David Prowse under the suit.
Yeah.
And rest in peace to David Prowse as well. He died. I think
Mhm.
he died a couple years ago. Um, but uh, you hear that voice, and it's very much like, "Oh, get out of here! Get out of here! You suck! Long
T-
live the
t-
Empire!
take him alive and
Yeah,
get him out.
get him out! Fuck that guy." But then it's all within the performer. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
there's this famous clip. I think we talked about it recently of James Earl Jones on Broadway, uh, playing the father role in
And
Fences.
fences. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, my God, that performance. I mean, he could have been wearing the cape and the mask and shit.
Dad, why you gotta be Vader?
Dad, why don't you like me? And why don't you let me get power converters?
I
Asks
don't have
you
to
a
like you.
question. It's I Who in the
You're part of the
galaxy
rebel alliance
says
and a
I got
traitor.
to like you?
Like, You're part of the rebel
Yeah.
alliance and a traitor. Take him away.
What law in the Empire is there to say I gots to like you?
You.
Slave? He's talking to Luke,
Dad, I'm
by the
from
way.
Tatooine.
I'm on Tatooine, Dad.
I'm on
Oh,
Tatooine. But the power
yeah.
converter is at the Rishi station.
I want to get some hookers at the power converter. Yeah, well, here we are, Mr. James Earl Jones. Rest in peace, my friend. You know, may the force be with you because
Mhm.
oh, and Brian, have you've seen Coming to America, right?
Who hasn't?
Children haven't. But I mean, look, here are just some of the iconic roles of this man.
Oh yeah,
Brought to you by
immense.
Mix 103.1. I mean, James Earl Jones, Godspeed, my friend. May the force be with you. Any last thoughts on James Earl Jones, my friend?
Amazing actor. Truly, we lost just someone who really encapsulates acting as a whole. Playing so many roles and playing them extremely well. And there's not a whole lot of actors that can do that. There's a lot of actors with a lot of ranges, but there's not a whole lot of actors that can leave such ground pounding, impactful roles as such as James Earl Jones. But you know, we all have a time, and James Earl Jones' time was there, and he lived an amazing life and had an amazing career. And I'm excited to see what happens with other people.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I mean, Brian, you're probably one of those Star Wars fans who, like, growing up, were like, Darth Vader's probably my dad.
Maybe.
It may be. Who knows? I have a
Maybe.
photo of Snoop Dogg with my mom.
Oh my god, I do.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that explains a lot, especially when you have dreads.
Oh yeah.
He just, I remember this one time Brian came up to me and he said, "What up, cuh?" And I said, "Don't stop that.
Don't ever tell me that ever again.
Don't do that shit." Yeah.
Never.
Well, well, Brian, I know you're also a really big video game guy. You're really big into the
What
whole
makes you say
world of
that?
video games. Well, you know what? You practice making out with women in Minecraft. So, if that isn't the mark of a gamer, I don't know what is. Speaking of
Child of
which,
the internet.
speaking of which, what are you more excited for?
Mm.
Um, the Minecraft film or Sonic 3?
Honestly, I'm not a big Sonic fan, but I am excited,
Really?
more excited for Sonic 3 compared to the Minecraft movie. But
Really?
also, but it's equal for me because I'm not gonna lie, because like I'm gonna go see Sonic 3 by myself, but my baby cousins love Minecraft, and when I told them about this movie, they're like, "Oh my god, it looks amazing!" And so
Why are
they
you
want to go
gonna
see
see
it.
it by yourself?
Sonic 3.
Yeah, why are you gonna see it by yourself? I just imagine you in like the theater alone in a big trench coat and shit.
I'm like,
Just
I don't know. I don't know who I'm gonna watch
one
it with.
bucket of
I,
popcorn,
I
please.
also haven't seen the second one. I've only seen the first one, which was pretty good.
You also haven't seen Deadpool and Wolverine, which
I
is
I have not seen that
ridiculous.
yet. I know it just don't have enough time.
You don't want to go see Sonic with me, my friend?
Do you want to go see Sonic 3 with Keanu Reeves?
You're gonna, well, I'm gonna see it regardless with someone. And I
Then
can't believe you're
I'm
just
game.
like,
I'm
I'm gonna
game.
go see it by myself, as long as
Well,
our families know.
I don't know people's plans if they're down to go see Sonic.
But it's in December. I mean, you can make plans.
True, true, true. But if you go see it, I'm down to go see it.
All right. Well, you didn't see Sonic 2.
No, not yet.
Um, that's a pretty fun film. I mean, they're trying to achieve like kind of that Avengers type of feeling, especially in the
Yeah,
third act. Because you got like the staples of Sonic with Knuckles and Tails and everything. And I'm not going to spoil too much. I mean, these aren't really movies to spoil, honestly. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
because they're you know what they are. They're children-centric blockbusters,
exactly.
and
Yeah, but they're
they're
really
very
well made.
predictable.
The first one was
Yeah,
amazing. Love
yeah,
Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey's amazing. In the
yeah.
first film. So I definitely gotta see him in the second film and stuff. I wonder how he's
I
gonna
think
play
we
in the
should
third.
cosplay. I think we should cosplay for the third one, where you dress up as Eggman and I'll dress up as Shadow.
I'm down. I am down with that.
And the only reason I really want to do that is not because of this movie or anything like that is because an ex-girlfriend of mine was really attracted to Shadow the Hedgehog. So I think I can get her.
You get her back in Shadow.
Yeah, I look over to you, I punch you, and then she comes out of nowhere, and she's like, "Julius, is that you?" I say, "No, I'm Shadow."
I'm Shadow. You gotta try doing the Keanu Reeves voice. You gotta be like, ah, 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 ah.
Ah, I'm thinking I'm back. You're a colorful bunch. You know he's Canadian.
Yeah, he is. He's almost perfect.
You asshole. You son of a bitch. I can't believe you just said that. He's almost a legitimate human being.
Exactly. See, I'm so
He's
happy you
almost
agree with
equal
me.
before the eyes of God.
Exactly. I'm happy
Son
you
of a bitch.
finally
I can't
agree.
believe you just said that to me. Hey, you know what? I hope that Shadow carries an Uzi up in this movie, like he did in that game. You know, like that was the most hard game opening I've ever seen in my life of a cartoon-ass character.
Oh yeah. Here, I'm gonna see if I can pull it up. I love
Yeah,
that.
please. Because I mean, dude, Shadow the Hedgehog rocking like one of the shots in the opening is Shadow behind a falling Sonic who's about to go limp with a gun, like with a fucking a semi-automatic.
Wait, you got put on sharing, dude.
Oh, I'm sorry, Brian. It's because I don't want to
Damn it.
see the shit you bring up. Your
Julius is
hentai,
ruining the Julius is ruining the gamer moment.
the mojo, the the fly ass
Dude,
shit.
this is the title cover too. I mean,
Oh yeah, look at that. He's got a.
this
I,
man's got an RPG.
that's insane, dude. Why can't we get that in the movie? They got the
Why can't we get?
teleporting shit. Shadow pumps his gun.
They want to take Shadow's Second Amendment.
Oh my God.
Oh, look
You
at
know what
this.
would actually go really hard, Brian? Here's
Hmm,
my prediction for Sonic 3. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
The moment so there's a moment in the trailer where he's like beating the ass of a bunch of soldiers and shit.
Yeah.
Damn, look at that. That goes hard.
Wow, look at those PlayStation 2 graphics.
It's-
Those
the
polygons
moment
are amazing.
the moment
that
when
that that MP is bigger than him.
and he could still carry it.
He can still carry. Yeah.
That's pretty fire. My prediction. What the is that real?
I don't know, but I wish it was. I hope it
That, that's gonna be like that's some shit from the Taliban, dude. Are you kidding me?
is.
That's insane. I love it.
Me too.
Is
Oh
that
my
still
god.
from the movie?
Is this behind the scene footage?
Yeah, no. Now that you're showing me this, Keanu Reeves was the perfect guy for this one. Oh my God.
Dude, he's
Oh, Brian, fuck you, man. Get out of my podcast. God damn it. All right. We've had enough before you get us canceled. The Star Wars podcast is gonna be canceled because of this shit.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
the younglings. Um, you know, Anakin was the first school shooter.
Oh my
Um,
god.
here's my prediction for here's my prediction for Sonic 3.
Hmm.
When we have uh Shadow break out of the facility and he's teleporting and he's beating all the soldiers up and everything. The song that will play is the song from the opening of Shadow the Hedgehog. I wanna get it down, 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 down. Dude, you could see that,
You can
right?
see it. I can see it too. I thought you were gonna bring up that when Shadow's beating up those soldiers, it should show him doing and committing an execution style run on just like
Oh, they should.
one of those homemade videos. She just covers her head. She just
I'm a hero. I'm a hero. I'm I am. Man, that shit went hard back in the day. Too bad that
it
game
did.
sucks.
Hey, but have we ever seen Sonic? I mean, have we ever seen Shadow ever pull up with an MP7 ever
This
since
is
then?
true.
That's peak gaming.
That's true. You got me, man. You got me. I mean, if only they did it in this new film. They got Keanu. They got to give him a
They
50
gotta give
cal.
him. I hope they do a reference to like John Wick with him.
Yeah, they
They
have
just
to. I mean,
they
if they,
they animate him just doing this.
yeah, man. I mean, I couldn't imagine them actually letting him use a firearm in this film. I mean, that would be a little like unbelievable if they
It'd be funny if
if
he
they
used a
did that.
pencil.
I mean, that would be pretty good if they used a pencil and like in like a child-friendly way. It's like an unsharpened pencil, so he just like really quickly like adds like welts into the guy's head or something, you know? You know?
You imagine Sonic
Um,
being like his little quips. He's like, this guy uses pencils. Well, good thing I'm not at testing.
it's not good. Yeah, exactly. Man, I usually fail all my tests. Got an F. But yeah, I really want to hear that song up in that movie. That would go, the crowd would go hard because, dude, going to see Sonic 2. I know you didn't see it, but like seeing it in the theater and especially for that post-credit scene where they tease Shadow, there are grown-ass men crying, shitting themselves, like going like, oh,
Oh
including Justin and Jacob and shit. Like
yeah.
Jacob was the one who was like, oh shit. And then a parent's like, hey, could you not swear? Fuck you. Going crazy. Oh, you bring up the Digimon, dude?
I do.
The
I'm happy you knew
Digimon.
who this was.
Oh, dude, I was around when Digimon came out. You were like barely a teardrop. So yeah, no, I know
You be
about the
quiet with that.
Digimon.
I do. I love
Digimon,
Digimon.
digital monsters, Digimon. Brian, can you do this? Oh,
Oh,
yeah, exactly. Okay, now what about Minecraft, real quick?
all right. With Minecraft, I'm obviously a great game. Great game for people with autism. I
Yeah, it's,
Julius and me can conclude.
yeah, I have a story about that, but go ahead.
We can concur. Well, I while the film does look bad, I'm willing to give it a shot. But also, I know there's a bunch of people out there who are like, let's bully this again, just like how we bullied Sonic into the redesigns. As much as I would like that, I don't think they're willing to do that with this IP. While Sonic
Well,
is
I don't
huge,
know how
I
they
feel like
would do
Minecraft
it.
has been bigger over the years. I also feel like it would just take a little bit even longer than a year. I feel like it would take even up to 2 or 3 years due to like
For like a
so many
complete
blaring for a complete like
redesign.
vision and a redesign. Exactly. Yeah.
Oh no, they're not gonna. I mean, the Sonic effect isn't gonna affect this film.
Hmm.
Because for one thing, they have this is not. I mean, it's a Minecraft film, but first and foremost, it's also a Jack Black comedy. It has Jason Momoa in there. You know what I
Jack
mean? Like
Black.
it's like they're trying to do what Jumanji did here. You know,
Yeah.
and uh, I mean, you could argue that the movie should have been um animated from the get-go, you know?
Hmm.
But at the same time, I feel like it would be a little hard to connect with characters that look like that, you know? And
Yeah.
I'm fine. I don't really care about this film. I just know that the memes are hard. And the moment Black showed up as Steve,
I'm
it's,
Epstein.
you should honestly do that for Halloween, Brian. You could totally
I
pull it
am
off.
Steve. I could.
Get the beard going.
Oh yeah. But you know what? I am excited. The one thing that this film does do for people who are kind of like not on board fully with the design, because honestly, I feel like I don't know, video game films are so weird. Anything video game related within the media is kind of like really hard to like get into. Like the only good thing that I've seen within video game media has been Sonic so far. Everything else has been kind of like either mediocre or just like not it. But
Yeah.
I am excited. We did get a trailer. I believe it was before the official trailer for the Minecraft movie, but but it was a trailer.
That's enough.
Um,
You have to stop.
Here, I don't know if you want to pull it up real quick. I don't know if we're able to show it, but it's Minecraft Netflix TV show. So I'm excited to see that. A Netflix TV series
Is
for
it animated?
I think it looks animated. I mean, here. I don't know if you're able to pull
Oh,
it up or
yep, here
not,
we
but
are. Here we are.
yeah, you see it?
Here we are.
Yeah.
Oh, but is this going to be like the Telltale game they did where it's like,
I
you know what I
can't
mean?
tell. I mean, but the Telltale game was pretty good. It's not like it was bad. Yeah, I'm gonna say yeah, it's the second one. Yeah, it's that one.
This one here? Oh, okay. I mean, I could see it. I mean,
Honestly, the story mode wasn't half bad. I mean, after playing through it, and Netflix did put the story mode online on Netflix for free, which was
right.
interesting. Uh, I mean, it's definitely a much more condensed version of it because, like, if you actually own Telltale games, they're a little bit more in depth compared to the Netflix version. But yeah, no, Netflix is making a whole new Minecraft series, so I'm excited to see what that details. If it's going to be like one of those like play and watch games, that'd be cool. You know, I like play and watch games, but also like if it's like an actual story that's focused around Minecraft, like what would that even look like? We'll find out. You know, whereas in this one, this is very much Jumanji esque. I mean,
Yeah,
even
yeah, very
just
much.
like the data miners coming out with the collection of like what this story is going to be about is very much like, oh, people trapped into this world and stuff like that. So it's very much like, oh, it's one of these like, oh, these people are trapped into the video game and they gotta leave the video game movies, you know?
Yeah,
So it's
and
not
like,
like,
what's his name? Jack Black has been there forever. You know, they're really trying to capture that kind of Robin Williams energy with him, I think. And
yeah,
yeah, I mean, this movie, I know there are people who really care because they love Minecraft and everything, and I enjoy Minecraft and like an exploration kind of like I love sandbox games and everything, and the
mhm.
building aspect is
Yeah,
cool.
you like messing
Um,
around with me and killing my shit.
blow, blowing up Brian's house,
I'm blowing up my home.
that's really fun. But in terms of a story, I've never been too attached to it, and
Mhm.
all that's missing from this film is Kevin Hart, really. That's kind of how I look at it, honestly.
Basically, Kevin Hart, Dwayne the Rock Johnson,
Yeah.
or Aquafina.
Aquafina, yeah, exactly. Aquafina, and you know what? I would have appreciated this had they gotten a cast of just like really dramatic, near suicidal actors. You know,
Actors. Oh yeah,
like Paul Giamatti's up in
oh
there,
yeah. Killian Murphy,
Killian Murphy, Emily Blunt, and
John
um,
Bertrand.
yeah, John Bernthal.
Yeah. What
He's
is
going
that?
around to the creepers.
What is that?
Charging the creepers. And then to top it off,
Reaper, you know, he would be blowing up people's homes. They would have him on trial. He's like, I liked it. And I'll do it again.
I liked it. And I was dude, and then Willem Dafoe.
I agree. I agree.
We just pitched a
William
better movie
Dafoe.
for Minecraft
He did.
with Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito
Hell yeah. I want to see that movie. So who do we have? We have
with
Paul
Jeremy
Giamatti,
Allen White, you know?
Jeremy Allen White. Hell yeah. Jeremy Allen White is Steve. Paul Giamatti.
Hi,
We have
I'm Steve. I'm
we
Steve.
have Killian Murphy. We have Emily Blunt. We have Danny DeVito and Willem Dafoe. That's an
It's a
Oscar-winning
star
video game
cast.
movie right there.
This is, I can imagine William Dafoe being like, ah, I see you're somewhat of a villager myself.
It's you have to craft the mine.
You have to have emerald to trade.
Yeah. There's only one who ever wielded the diamond sword.
I imagine him making like a redstone project in Minecraft and then them being like, sir, we don't have enough pistons for this. And he's like, we don't have enough pistons. Well, we have to go back to formula.
Back to formula.
I started this trading company.
I started this craft.
I started this I started this mine.
You know how much I sacrificed? Screaming at a fucking pig.
I made these horizontal stairs.
He's at the top of a pillar of dirt that he just up into the sky.
I made this dirt. This is fun.
I stacked this dirt. You know how much I dug?
do, you, do you know how much I shoveled?
Oh my God. Well,
Actually,
speaking
I
of
would like to
comic
see
books,
William Defoe as the farmer of the group, you know?
you know what, Brian? I would like to see you in Minecraft and never back here again.
Me too. I'll take that.
You'll look like Steve. And you know
I
what, Brian? You
am
can't have
Steve.
sex with the people in the Minecraft, okay? I know you would try.
Oh my god.
You're like, yes, my time has come. If I can't have a goth Betty, I'll have a block one. You like it, Brian? You like what you see?
I do. I swear. What? What? What was that?
Don't worry about it.
That
Uh,
was disturbing.
no, that was disturbing. I'm here to talk some Star Wars because I'm a Star Wars fan. I love Star Wars. Don't you fucking love Star Wars? Oh my God. Look at you. You look like a clone. Like a guy I used to know. He worked in a gas station bathroom. And he would only wear that.
My dorsal fin.
It's, he would never take off the helmet.
Dolphin.
Brian,
Yes.
guess what?
Yeah.
I got my own protein shake, so fuck you.
Nice. Nice.
Mm,
Nice. What's it
mm,
made out of?
mm, 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 mm.
All right. Moving on to the discussion. What are we bringing up first, Julius?
I want you to bring up your book that you do not have. But I'm
Yes, I
curious
will.
what this entails.
What
What
this
do you got?
entails? Well, here, if you would let me share my screen, I will show you.
You let me share my fucking screen, Jules, and we wouldn't be in this predicament now, would we? You son of a bitch. Go for it, Brian.
All right, perfect, perfect. Here we are.
Yeah,
So,
perfect. Here we
folks,
go.
I'm gonna give a little. I'm gonna give a little background to this. The little background behind it is, as a child, I loved Star Wars. Even now, as an adult, I love Star Wars. You know,
As
Star
a
Wars is
historian.
as an historian, Star Wars is amazing. Um, and so, at the book fair at school, there'd be very few things to read or things that piqued my interest. Two of those books I enjoyed. One of them I was debating on either bringing up today, and the other one I was bringing up today. So one of them, sadly, will not bring up is Bone. Love that graphic novel. It's amazing. I think if we have another chance one of these days to talk about it, I will buy the full volume and stuff like that because I miss reading it. I miss the story. But the other one I also enjoyed coming around that same point of time, and this was during Revenge of the Sith era, but a project by George Lucas and by another infamous animator, uh, by the infamous animator, Grendy Tartakovsky, if I'm saying his
Yes,
name
yes,
correctly.
Gary Tartakovsky.
He created one of, if not the best media depictions of Star Wars: The Clone Wars, and he made a book series. I believe
Ooh,
I
nice.
knew it was on his art style. I don't know if he directly made it, but it's called Star Wars: Clone Wars Adventures, and it is by far one of the best depictions of the Clone Wars. I would even say if the Clone Wars animated series that was made for 3D animation that came out years later, if that was just season 1 to 2, I would prefer the two-part miniseries of the 2D animated adventure movie over those Clone Wars. But because the Clone Wars now has grown into something more with 7 seasons and even beyond with Tales of the Empire and Tales of Jedi, I do prefer that Clone Wars. But this one, this graphic novel is amazing. And I'm explaining a little bit why. Not only the art style is perfect, it fits the motif of that 2D animation. It's also kind of gives you that sense of this is the creator of Samurai Jack. So everything is very much stylized violence. And if it's not stylized violence, it's created in a perfect humanizing way to understand villains, understand motives, and understand a lot of things that most people would go over or glance over within the original trilogy, or specifically within the prequel trilogy. For instance, the book that I just mentioned up right now within Star Wars Clone Wars Adventures Volume 8 has a lot of redemption arcs, specifically over two, well, three players. One of them is an infamous bounty hunter. I forgot her name, but I think it's Laura Singh or Shai
Oh
Singh.
yeah, I'm
She's
familiar with that character.
Yeah, she's the bounty hunter with the weird antenna that's on the top of her
Yeah.
head with the red ponytail. It kind of shows about her rise and sort of fame in the Hutt cartel and about her meeting Boba Fett. And actually, I think the end of the novel describes her death and what eventually leads towards the end of it. But it's a great little series about how the bounty hunters worked and what their whole functions were, especially with Jabba and how Jabba kind of used a manipulation tactics for the bounty hunters to kind of be like, oh, you work for me and I'll take care of you. But when she gets really in trouble, but Jabba's like, well, you're just a bounty hunter that I paid money for it, and I have more money, meaning I can get more bounty hunters. Another story is a little interesting take because I think they did a later episode. I don't know if you saw this, but it's an attack on Camino, where the clones came from, right?
Mhm.
Let me fix the light. There we go. So it's not so bright for the
Oh,
audience.
I need to.
Um,
The light side and the dark side are not balanced.
and in this episode, it's very much race heavy. It's very much like focused around um, discrimination and racism, which is weird to think that Star Wars would talk about that, you know, Nemoidians. Uh, but in this episode, it shows I forget the alien species, but it's a type of female species that grows spikes on her back, and she's albino,
Oh,
and her race is
yeah, I know what
red.
they are. The they're the Gungans,
I thought you were going to say the Gothbadians.
the Goth baddies.
They have twin sons.
Hell yeah,
And
brother.
so she attacks Kamino, and where she meets Obi-Wan Kenobi, they have a fight, and Obi-Wan Kenobi kind of has like a little glaring thing after harassing her. In reality, the reason why she was going to the clone facility was not to destroy clones, but to clone herself because she felt alone that she was the only species that was albino in her alien race, and she felt like she needed more of a sisterhood than she originally grew up as a child with. So that's a bit of an interesting take on like how other alien species viewed cloning. You know, a lot of
So
them
the white person felt discriminated against
exactly against the red
and
aliens.
downtrodden. It's
Exactly.
just like real
Finally,
life, Jules.
another story that I very much enjoy. I originally thought it was called
Brian, you would bring that one up. It's so
can you
so
can
the
you
white person
it's not my
he
fault that
goes
they
on a
made her albino.
quest.
It's
He
not my
goes on
fault
a
that
quest to repopulate the galaxy with the superior race.
with the clones.
Huh.
But another story which I enjoyed heavily as a kid was I originally thought it was called Joy Bait, but it was called Pathways. And it's a story about the B1 battle droids and how they work and what's their function. And it shows that this one B1 battle droid on the separatist side has gone through so many battles and so many hardships that keep it's been constantly being destroyed, rebuilt, destroyed, and rebuilt. Finally, one day it blows up, but instead of blowing up, it actually regains all its memories from its past battles because they wipe their memories and stuff. And at that moment, it looks into the battlefield and says, "I don't want to be a part of this anymore." And a B2 battle droid or the super battle droid follows the B1, trying to kill it, being like, hey, you have this battle that you need to participate in. The B1 ends up destroying the B2, but the B1 becomes so disabled that it loses all its power cells. And then it stands within the test of time within that battlefield. Everyone died except for that one. Finally, it goes years later at the end of The Empire Strikes Back, and it shows a bunch of farmers who finds this V1 battle droid, and then they fix it up, giving it new life. And it's kind of a cool little story because a lot of the clones and a lot of the debate about the clones, especially since Clone Wars has popularized the clones and what the idea of what being a clone is. You know, I mean, I bought into it, and I definitely love the clones, and I think the clones are definitely my favorite part of Star Wars, specifically in the prequel era. You know, I even find them more entertaining than the Jedi at some points. You know, um,
Hmm.
but within the clones, we kind of have a little bit of And I'm going to get into a little bit of spoilers here. I don't know if Julius has really seen all the Rebels or all the Clone Wars yet, but I know the
I think
main purpose
I
of
think I know what you're going to bring up. Darth
okay,
Vader is Luke's father.
yes, of course, and then Jar Jar is the Sith.
Okay.
Anyone who
Okay.
denies it, uh,
Okay.
but no. Um, the thing is, the Clone series, either within the Clone 2D series or the Clone Wars with the 3D animation, or even in Star Wars Rebels, it has an arc that looks at clones as people and what they serve and the functionality. You know, they are soldiers that are bred to be kind of die off. You know, they're just bred for war and not really bred for anything else. And Rebels kind of looks into that and how Captain Rex and other clones who did survive the purge, how did they function in life as being just soldiers in a constant state of battle? And so we never really got to see that within the separatist side because the Clone Wars does explain a lot that the separatists aren't really bad. It's more or less the people who are in power in both the Republic and in the separatists are the real masterminds behind this war, and they're controlling everything and forcing people to continue this war, to continue to deplete resources, and to kill off these planets in order to take control via Darth Sidious. But the B1 battle droids are kind of just created and then never mentioned again. This book kind of, while it's a small graphic novel, explains that there is a bit of a life to these B1 battle droids. And honestly, I'd be excited to see. I know there's a new series coming up called Skeleton Crew. I hope
Hmm.
we get to see more B1 battle droids or even more representation of what happened with separatist battle droids after the effects of the prequels, maybe in newer sequel
Right.
projects, you know?
Right.
But no, I
Well,
love this graphic novel
right.
series. It's amazing. Overall, it's like small little mini stories explaining about what happened during Clone Wars. We see a lot of perspectives for the Jedi, a lot of perspectives for people. And it's just cool to see from something because I know that we both agree on something equally that the prequels, while it does have material, it doesn't expand on that material enough. You know, it kind of leaves everything a
Hmm.
little out in the open. And with Star Wars, we don't really need the out in the open. We kind of want a little bit more of amazing storytelling that George Lucas is trying to kind of proceed. And so I think Grandy Tartakovsky's Clone Wars books definitely expands upon that. You know, while it may be not considered canon anymore, I definitely hold these books deep in my heart, and I feel like a lot of people who've read these definitely hold them deep in their heart, and I hope to get a full volume of. I think it's 10 volumes of them. So I'm going to be
Damn.
looking online to see if I can go find them now because they're just
Give me
that
them.
amazing.
Listen, listen, you Jedi scum. You're gonna give me my books.
You're going to give me the books, and I
And I'm
won't read
actually
them.
gonna read them.
I will. I will read them. I will read
Well, without a doubt, my favorite aspect of the prequel era of Star Wars that came out was definitely the very limited series of Clone Wars animated stories by Tartakovsky and his crew, because those were just animated beautifully. The stories were really cool and everything. They and the
them.
characterization for me was even for a lot of those characters was even better than the films. You know
Oh yeah.
that they were supplements to, specifically with
Hmm.
Anakin. I completely not only bought the whole tragic aspect of him being tempted, which I
Hmm.
think is much more effectively demonstrated in that than in even in the films, but also that kind of that brotherhood between him and Obi-Wan, you find it's in there, it's captured so well within these animated things, and it's unfortunate that they're not considered necessarily canon anymore because I think they do what those films should have. They had the fun aspect, they had characters you cared about, they got dark at moments and everything, they had some great action and everything. Um, so yeah, I really I really dug them. I felt the disturbance in the force.
Yeah. No,
Um,
I mean, yeah, I mean, it's amazing. I also love the aspect of kind of a callback towards Qui-Gon, you know? I feel like that was
yeah,
one
yeah.
thing that it was missing in the prequels was kind of that banter. I mean, there is banter totally, but I feel like instead of a brotherhood within the second film of Attack of the Clones, it's kind of more or less like it's still on that Padawan. master level. And then I feel like they kind of skipped a little too far within Revenge of the Sith, where it's no longer their brothers, but more or less they're like great friends, and we're kind of missing in
Well,
on the inside jokes, you know?
I think that's what that was the goal. It didn't really hit for me because I don't think George Lucas is an actor's director. So it was just very much like when we hit that nest of gun ducks. It's like, no, fuck you. You fell into it, dick. Um, but I feel like with voice acting, that's a whole other game where you really have to hit the emotion in a very
Oh
different
no,
way,
totally,
where
yeah.
especially since they're not seeing you on camera. And
Mm-hmm.
I think they got that completely with those shows. And
Oh yeah.
to think that
Yeah,
these
some of the best
books are,
acting scenes are with Yoda and Anakin's voice actor. You know, they're
yeah,
great
yeah,
representation of.
it's wonderful. Wonderful. And to think that these books are expanded expansions of this kind of special moment of Star Wars is really exciting. I had no idea that these were a thing, when you
Oh yeah,
mentioned
they're.
Clone Wars to me yesterday, when you messaged it to me, I was like, oh shit, he's gonna bring up that fucking, the show where everyone looks like a puppet. Fuck. But you know, no, I love the old
I
school
mean, look at
show.
this art
Oh, look at
style,
that.
just like
Nice.
Aura sitting right here.
Oh
You
my
know,
God, look at Jar Jar. Jesus Christ. Ugh.
look at this
Oh, that's beautiful.
brooding. You know, I mean, it just.
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine reading this as like a kid and just having it to like be like, oh yeah, this is peak right here.
Yeah.
This is peak Star Wars, and there's nothing else that's even behind this. You know, I mean, even just this
Oh yeah,
opening
I've seen this cover. That's
novel
nice.
art. You know, yeah, no, a lot of this is just very. I mean, it's also so. I mean, look at this. This is beautiful
Yeah.
right here. A lot of this is very much like it does really. While it is Star Wars, I will say there is one complaint within, and it is that I feel like a lot of the Star Wars projects, they kind of mask and perfectly fit into the Star Wars universe, while Gwendy Tartakovsky's project definitely feels like his. You know, in the sense of like this
Mhm.
is his and no one can take that away from him because it feels so much like his artwork, like his style, like his storytelling. But how well does it fit within the Star Wars universe? You know, in the compendium timeline. Now, does it feel great for us as the audience members to enjoy it? Yeah, of course. But how does it really work within the canonization? And I think that was the one issue that came about it because he definitely shows that the Jedi are a force to be messed with. You know, I mean, in the first
Yeah.
miniseries, it shows Mace Windu taking on hordes of B2 battle droids with just his fists, you know? Do we see that in the Revenge of the Sith? I mean, no.
No, we don't see
Um,
any of that shit.
and he messes around with force powers, you know? I mean, it makes sense within the original trilogy that that Ben Kenobi is very much weakened because he's older and he's not as powerful as he was. And even I would even say, if you really want to explain a little bit more about the Jedi and how powerful they were, Luke is very much, while he is a powerful Jedi in Return of the Jedi, he is not at that same level of a fully trained Jedi Knight. So it's really cool to see how the Jedi, how powerful they are with force jumps, with force speed, with like force punches, and taking down whole Venator class
Force
ships
piss,
with just the force
force
and
pooping,
crashing and crashing them about
force
is like
diarrhea.
that's the Jedi right there. You know, that's like
Excuse me.
insane.
Are you gonna try to decanonize force diarrhea right now?
You know what? Canonize it right now.
No, it wasn't me. It was Disney. They said it wasn't real.
They took it away from me.
And now our next guest, Freddie Prinze Jr., yelling
Enough
at
of this.
Brian.
Yeah.
I want to see that. I want to see you talk to Freddie Prinze Jr. about the Force.
Honestly, I'm shocked that him and Starkiller got Sam Witwer. I'm shocked that they were able to work in the same room because Sam loves the expanding universe and despises what Disney has done, and Freddie Prinze Jr. loves the paycheck. You know,
Yeah, well, you know what, Brian? You can say that all you want, but he was taught by Filoni, so suck it. Were you taught by Dave Filoni?
hey, I teach Dave Filoni.
Oh, really? Really?
I
What do you
do.
teach him? How
I,
to not love Star Wars?
I tell him how to envelop Star Wars.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you're the one to blame for fucking Boba Fett, huh?
I'm the one. Oh my god, for the show or for the animated?
Yeah, so here's what we're gonna have, Dave. We're gonna have some fucking space hipsters, okay? And they're gonna go around Tatooine, and they're gonna have their leather jackets, and they're gonna look like they came from Laksa, all right?
I thought you would honestly like that part.
No, Brian, what's wrong with you? Little do you know about me, and much more do you know less regarding Star Wars.
No, I know a lot.
You're probably like, oh, we're gonna have the Galactica show up, and who's that asshole with the blue box? Doctor something.
We're gonna
Oh,
we're gonna have we're gonna have Mass Effect in Star Wars. We're gonna have
the
Shepard come out of nowhere.
Shepard's gonna show.
We're gonna
We're
have the
gonna have the
Mass Effect
Planetary
remix.
Express show up on a delivery.
The
We're gonna see
Bender's
the
gonna say
droid army.
we're gonna see
We're
the
gonna see
Droid
the
Army.
droid army, and Bender's gonna show up.
We're gonna. I would like to see
God
that
damn it.
crossover though.
No, you don't want to, because you know what? That would be good. And you just want lame Star Wars anyway. So speaking of which, um, look at this guy. I'm gonna talk real quick about this issue I have. Brian, thank you for bringing that up. I'm very excited for reading
Of
it.
course.
Let me close
I'm
the
excited to
window
read what you're about to bring up right now too.
before the Empire attacks. Jesus Christ. Oh my
If
fucking
Julius brings
gosh.
up anything from the sequels, I'm gonna leave.
My Ezra fell.
Oh, nice. My Ezra, he fell.
Ezra Miller. Um, Ezra Miller should have played Ezra Bridger anyway.
I
Um, you don't disagree because you know it's
He would
true.
have definitely force choked a bunch of people on set.
Hey, you know what? That's okay. Here's what I got for you guys. A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, there was this guy named George Lucas who was a film student at USC and wanted to make his own science fiction film based on the many sci-fi serials like Buck Rogers and stuff like that from when he was growing up. He wanted to homage these films in his own world. And he developed this world, this galaxy featuring monsters and aliens and empires and rebellions and everything. And originally it was called The Star Wars. It then took different shape as Star Wars and, became what we know, but it was originally a very different animal. And we see some of these concepts conceived by artist Ralph McQuarrie in a lot of the original concept art of Lucas's original ideas. But to really get invested within this world, as it were, the original conceit of Star Wars that George Lucas had in mind, you look no further than the Dark Horse published The Star Wars.
Hmm.
See what we got here?
Wow, look at that. That's pristine right there.
It's beautiful. I'm gonna add an image
You
so
can
everyone
barely
can see
see it
a
because of the
clean one.
glare.
Exactly, which is why I'm going to add the image currently right here. And this is a beautiful cover. I know the glare is still kind of, but you can see a little bit better.
Oh,
Um,
totally.
it is a beautiful, beautiful book. Um, so this is based once again off the original ideas and original scripts of George Lucas for the Star Wars. This is a very different story with characters with names that are very familiar to the Star Wars mythos, but in completely
Star
different
Killer.
contexts. Yeah, I mean, Anakin Starkiller is the young kind of guy who's like a king and shit. We got his mentor Luke Skywalker up here, who's kind of modeled after George Lucas, actually. Han Solo in this is based on like a swamp thing kind of creature, a monster. Um, but and there are a lot of like hybrid kind of characters. Like Han Solo is a mix between, another kind of bounty hunter type of character within this and everything.
Oh
And
yeah,
we see,
Bosk or
I think it's Bosk, but this is what it says. So the script is
Tradoshans.
the script is
Trandoshan
written.
scum.
You son of a bitch. You green bastard. The script is written by J.W. Rinsler, the art's by Mike Mayhew, and the colors Rain Barreto. This is a really, I mean, looking at this, they're really going for that Ralph McQuarrie art style, which you
Mm,
can kind of see, but again, right
yeah.
there. And
I would love
I
to take a
really
read one of these days.
absolutely. I mean, I'm being very careful just holding this because
Oh no,
you
yeah.
know, I don't, I do not want to damage. This is from Lucas Books, probably just like the books you brought on and everything. And it's based on George Lucas's original rough draft screenplay, which means the story is kind of convoluted and, it's more interested in mythos rather than, you know, pure emotion and following a single character.
Mm.
But to give you a little bit of backstory, everybody, including you, Brian, I'm going to read what it says at the beginning, the foreword, as it were. The Star Wars. Back in 1974, still years before a film called Star Wars would take the world by storm, George Lucas completed the first rough draft screenplay of what was then called The Star Wars. The original screenplay contains all of the now familiar elements of Star Wars: an evil empire, a young would-be Jedi, an older Jedi Knight who mentors the boy, a princess in need of rescue, even a father who is more machine than man, but put together in ways far different from what you've seen on the screen. For nearly 4 decades, George Lucas's original vision of the galaxy far, far away existed only as what might have been. And I mean, come on. This is, and it opens up. What's really cool, Brian, it opens up with the crawl as well.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Look at
I
that.
need you to
That's
do the music
amazing.
behind it. I'm gonna read it. I need you to do some music behind it.
Are you ready?
Yep.
Da, 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 da,
Until the recent Great
da, da, da,
Rebellion. Wait, hold on. Let me try it
da,
again. Fuck.
da, 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 da,
Until the
da,
recent Great
da, da,
Rebellion.
da, da,
The
da.
Jedi Bendu
Da,
were
da,
the
da,
most
da,
feared warriors in the
da,
universe.
da,
For
da, da,
100,000 years,
da,
generations of Jedi
da,
perfected their
da,
art as the personal bodyguards of the Emperor.
ba-da-da,
They were the chief
ba-da-da,
architects of the invincible Imperial Space Force, which expanded the Empire across the galaxy from the celestial equator to the farthest
da-da-da,
reaches of the Great Rift.
da-da-da,
Now, these
da-da,
legendary warriors are all but extinct, one by one. They have been hunted down and destroyed as enemies of the new empire by a ferocious and sinister rival warrior sect, the Knights of Sith. Yeah, they got some crazy artwork in this that you're going to
Hey,
appreciate,
let
Brian.
me see one of these artworks. I want to see a cool scene. Is this Seth? Show me. Oh wow, look at that! Killed a kid.
Yeah. And what's crazy is that like there's concepts that are just kind of ordinary because I think Lucas originally wanted to create a world that felt lived in. So,
Yeah,
for example, the Jedi are the Jedi Bentu and everything. Lightsabers are kind of a common weapon and stuff. Um, the Jedi aren't necessarily force oriented. They're just very skilled warriors. And the
mm,
force is more of like a concept rather than a power, you know?
gotcha.
The Darth Vader character, he's not even masked up. He looks like just a dictator. He has a very similar outfit on and everything, but he's the most disfigured he is like a slight scar, a red bloodied eye and everything. You know, they go to a planet filled with Wookiees, a la Return of the Jedi and the Ewoks, and the holiday special. Um, but essentially the value in this book is not really, in my opinion, it's not really the story, it's the art and the kind of what if nature of it. The
So this
fact,
is like the story sucks. I've written
well,
better.
I'm not too engaged, and I don't even think it's necessarily because the story sucks, but I think it's because we're all so ingrained with Star Wars,
Yeah,
just of what
that's
it
kind of
is.
hard
It's
to
hard.
put
Yeah,
in. Yeah,
it's hard to separate your automatic feelings from what it is to this. This is just
exactly.
more of a
Yeah,
fun kind of deal. The art is incredible in this book. This
exactly.
this
Yeah.
is number one issue, and Yeah, I mean, this is what every Star Wars fan I think should read at some point because it is like
Mm.
it kind of makes you appreciate what we currently
What we
have,
currently
even
have, yeah.
yeah, even if we
Even
don't
the
always
Acolyte.
agree. Well, the Acolyte, but you don't have to worry about that anymore, Brian.
No, no.
It's, you
Honestly,
know,
I'm kind of disappointed a little.
about the Acolyte's cancellation.
Yeah, honestly, I would have watched season two. It's
Y-
is it bad? Yeah, but is it as bad as people were explaining? No.
Would I have watched season two? I didn't even finish season one, so I don't, I, I don't even know
Fair,
how I could
fair,
watch
fair
season
enough.
two. Um, but yeah, I really wish that Star Wars as a brand would go more into, and I'm curious what you think, and I'm sure you'd
Yeah, of
agree,
course.
but
Within the
I would
what if?
love the what if realm.
Yeah,
Marvel and DC have made like their trade in
and within the
it doesn't
what
have
if.
to be about the multiverse, but it's about world stories in different worlds that are separate from everything,
Mhm.
that just go in a different direction that can be really
Honestly, I feel like
unique.
Star Wars has kind of already dabbed into that, with both Visions. Visions is very like I don't even think it's canonized. I think it's just different animation studios under the premise of Star Wars create something under that. And also, I mean, even the smaller projects like the projects that people don't really assume that are delving into that, like the Star Wars, Lego Star Wars parts. I love those. I mean, they
Uh-huh.
just dropped a new movie yesterday. I think I mean, a whole part. It's called the Galaxy of something, and it's looking at like if Jar Jar Binks was a Sith, you know?
Right,
So
right,
it's
yeah.
very much like I think Star Wars is slowly getting to that level. I would say DC and Marvel has definitely popularized the what if part of their whole series, and even with DC has, I mean, the Justice League versus the Crime Syndicate, something as simple as that. It's not
Yeah.
really a what if, that's more or less on the parallel, but that works within the story. So I think if Star Wars did do a little bit more popularizing what if scenarios within Star Wars, I definitely don't think there should be a what if series in Star Wars. I definitely think that there should be a separate lineage of Star Wars characters or maybe Star Wars events that are separate from within the main universe. Like for instance,
Yeah.
like for instance, like something as simple as maybe even looking at like the Mon Cala or something like that, or like any alien race, maybe outside or before the events of the Empire or before the events of the Republic, just to kind of get a little like, oh, this is the aliens universe, like for instance, Star Wars did like a documentary called Star Wars Biomes, and that was kind of like a little overhead shot on like Hoth and a bunch of on Jakku, Tatooine, and a bunch of planets that have been like in the Star Wars universe and just looking in their environments. It'd be cool if we looked at that, but the alien races or planets.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. How like what's funny is that we're so stuck up on the Skywalker kind of saga that looking at other worlds or other time periods or whatever during whatever events of the main story, it's like equivalent to what if. Like for example, we did a narrative podcast called Star Wars Lightspeed, which is really fun, really cool and
It's
everything,
amazing.
but
Go check it out.
it's very separate from everything to where it feels like a very different kind of world. And that's kind of the
The
fun aspect of
chosen
it. But
one.
it's, but I would still be down if they did do, just like alternate stories because then you can have fun with it. It's like with Marvel Zombies, where in Marvel Zombies, anything can kind of happen and there can be any kind of pair ups you want of different characters because it's an apocalypse, and if Star Wars went into it's hard to conceive right now just because Star Wars has been such a
Yeah.
a,
And I
a,
was gonna
s-
say
a
even
strictly one thing,
even
but it
Mandalorian
would be
kind of
cool.
did a little bit of that. It definitely fit along that whole like separate universe even after kind of the events of the Empire until when it got into season two. Then it kind of like went into a little bit
Absolutely.
with involving a lot of like pirate characters like Bo-Katan or Sakatano and even Luke.
There are plenty of options in the whole world. Like it could be comic books, books. I would be really interested if it were films as well, where it's just like different. Like for example, we have Joker out there.
Mhm.
we also have the Batman, both dealing with the same characters, same type of world and everything, but completely different visions, completely different tones and everything. I'm very interested in how if Star Wars were if Disney were interested in approaching Star Wars in that way, I'm very curious what it would look like. You know, if whether you have a movie about Luke being a bad guy completely, going full on Dark Empire, you know,
Hmm.
and in that case, you could get someone like Sebastian Stan to play that character because,
Hmm. Totally.
like all these fan casts of like, we need Sebastian Stan to play a young Luke Skywalker. Well, they're not going to do that for the main fucking timeline. They could do that for a movie that's set in its own world or in its
Oh
own
yeah,
galaxy rather, you know?
exactly. Yeah.
I'd be really down with that.
Hmm. Or even I know that there was talk about doing Old Republic stuff, for movies and stuff.
Yeah,
And while we did see a little bit of the Old Republic within, well, the High Republic, I would say, within
in The
the
Acolyte.
Acolyte, yeah. I would definitely, I mean, the one thing that I definitely enjoyed about the High Republic and representation in the Acolyte is looking at how well they designed a lot of their characters based off of the Old Republic stuff and a lot of the prior stuff within the video games. It's very much like, oh, this is cool because this is something I grew up by playing Kotar, or playing Old Republic. But then with story, obviously a bit different. But just the design, it definitely feels more, even with the droids, something as basic as them not being even um, like being able to walk on their own and having to need chargers or battery packs or need to be fixed into machinery in order to operate. It would be cool. And I know that people are talking about having Keanu Reeves as as Darth Revan, so that'd be cool to have.
Hey, if he can play Shadow, he can play Revan, all right?
Oh yeah, he definitely can.
He's Shadow.
He is. He's Shadow. He's close to it.
It's in the name, Jules.
It's in the name.
Keanu Reeves has to be in Star Wars at some point before I
Hey,
die.
I mean, I never would imagine Keanu Reeves as Darth Revan, but I mean, I'll take it. I mean,
You want it.
the fan art of it looks pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. Some of it is pretty great.
Yeah, I love it. I love him as Darth Revan.
I mean, I'll take it.
Become.
Hey, I've been asking for Darth Revan for a long time.
And I hope, for your sake, you do not get it.
I hope for the fans, I hope for the true fans out there that we get Darth Revan.
Oh, you're gonna
Um,
pull that shit, huh?
what is this? What's happening? What's happening? what am I watching?
Edit these nuts.
Yes, the
You know,
true
I'll
fans.
play Darth Revan.
I'll take that. I'll take that. As long as we get Darth Revan, I'll take anything.
I'll play Darth Revan and I'll look into the camera and I'll say, "Fuck Brian."
She'll look to the camera and be like, "I committed to Star Wars."
I love Star Wars now. This is a real Star War you got here.
This is man. It seems like we're gonna have a new hope.
I know. Oh, it's the
It
the
seems
Sith are
somehow
attacking.
that there's a Return of the Jedi.
Look, the Empire is striking back.
Look, it's the Attack of the Clones.
Yeah, well, I sound like Solomon now. We're gonna make a movie, and in the movie, you're gonna say, "Oh, hey, there's some sort of phantom menace haunting me."
You're gonna look in the film, and then you're gonna say, "It seems that somehow Palpatine returned."
They fly now. They fly now.
They fly now. Two words of
Like a bantha, Brian.
John Bodega. But yeah, it's they've always flown since the Clone Wars.
Bullshit. No, they didn't.
Mandalorians.
You're talking about clones, not stormtroopers, bitch. I thought you were a Star Wars fan. I thought you cared. Look at you with your name above your head in case you forget while touching yourself who you are and what you're thinking about. All right. Well, that was
When
great. Brian, thank
when
you
are
so
they
much.
gonna make? Here's the real question: when are they gonna make a Jedi Survivor movie? You know,
I know when they're going to, but I'm not going to tell you. I have an insider.
I'm an insider. Here's my insider trading. It will happen in the galaxy far, far away.
I need a Cal Kestis movie ASAP. My boy, Cal
With
Kestis.
Marin, Goth Marin. You know, that's my real
Well,
question.
Brian, anyway, aside from your horniness, thank you so much for joining us on We Tolerate Comics. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, hide, you whore. Anyway, uh, thank you, Brian. I'm excited. Everybody get excited for the Star Wars centric podcast. Who knows? Who knows when it's going to be there? The
I'm gonna
final
be wearing this
first.
all